some edge. And if you're going to give yourself some edge, all right, people are going to see you as advantageous. What I mean is you're gaining advantage over your competitors, which is where you want to be, right? Because there's a lot of competition out there, especially at the grassroots. There's 5.5 million small businesses in the UK, and 4.4 million of them are micro businesses, which means small businesses. And you're fighting, you're competing amongst them. So you really have to have full metal jacket. You've got to be prepared for that. So going out and promotion, try and promote in the most cost-effective way that's going to generate your sales. If it means knocking on people's doors, going on high streets with a clipboard, cost-effective. Because cost-effective means when you get a sale, profit. You go and spend 10 grand, 20 grand, 30 grand in advertising, you got to make that money back. Now getting that money back is deficit. Right? And before profit, if you're spending, it's deficit, right? Whereas if you've managed to generate income through the most cost-effective way, everything that's coming in is profit. I've seen people turning over crazy money, but they're also spending crazy money to generate that profit. And when you look at their balance sheet, you'll be shocked. If you doubt me, go and look at most of the major supermarket chains today, go and look at most of the major companies today and see how strapped up they are with loans. That's why they're all shutting down, because they're not bootstrapping. Alright? It's loan after loan after loan, leverage after leverage after leverage. Alright? What I'm saying to you as a small business, do not take those risks. Have a plan, have a vision, 10, 15, 20 years ahead. Alright, know what time you're in, know what zone you're in, and move within your means, work within the means that you're in. I'm not saying you can't spend good money on advertising, but when you've got it, it's the key. Balance it, get it right, and then go after it. So promotion, and a lot of people get it twisted, not necessarily advertising. Promotion is when you're going out and putting the word out there. PR is a good way of doing it. If you feel you can get on the local radio, you go to an exhibition, promote yourself. You know, big up yourself, as they say. But like I said, your customers are the key one. You saying it is one thing. Getting your customers to say it is another thing. So think about what type of referrals you can get. Are you giving your customers a commission for bringing in business? Everybody likes a pound note today. Are you giving them a commission for doing it? Because if you are, they're likely to bring in business. I mean, if they're doing it without the commission, better still, it means you're giving a wonderful service. Great. But also, you can also give them an incentive. Incentives seldom fail. Yeah? Go out. Think about agents. Right? Have you got the type of business model that can incorporate agents that they may not have anything to do with the business, they may not be able to do your business, but at the end of it, they can bring you business. That's what football clubs do, and look at them. Let's not forget Division 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now we've got the Premiership. It's a completely different world today. Alright? And the reality of that is what? Because of agents. Right, upselling footballer. Same football. They still got a ball, they still run round. They still put on football boots. Still jump in the bath together for whatever reasons. Alright? But the bottom line is, still the same football clubs, but the whole game's changed. Because agents have gone out there and upsold the talent. Right, and they said, no, we're not having that benchmark anymore, we're taking it to that benchmark. I can remember growing up when Trevor Francis was the first £1 million player, and Brian Clough told him that he bought Trevor Francis, everyone said he was a nutcase. Now look at it, that's promotion for you. Alright, so understand where it's at. If you're going to go out and promote, guerrilla marketing, check it out. I can't go into the depths of it, I do a lot of things around it, and it's a specialist area. And maybe one day I'll do a special, if I see the need for it, I'll do a specialist talk on it. I mean, it's something that I'm passionate about. But you've got to go out there and you've just got to go full metal jacket, get behind those enemy lines and start working it. And when I say enemy, I'm talking about the bigger corporations, right? Because they're the ones you're going after, right? You want to chop. Bob Marley said, small axe chop big trees. And the big trees are falling down regularly now. So you really got to understand the market is yours, the game is on. Alright? The game's opening up, Brexit, all these things coming, the game's opening up for you. these budding entrepreneurs coming through. If you doubt me, look at all these gazelle companies coming from the tech industry. Right? And a lot of that's being done through venture capital and all these kind of things. But hey, you've got grassroots entrepreneurship. Never fails you. So understand where it's at. I hope that answers the question.
I hope that answers the question as well. I mean, it's quite in depth. So.
Well, you saying I'm going too in depth now?
No.
I didn't think that was in depth. I thought that was on the surface personally, but that's alright. No problem.
Alright. I mean, connecting to the previous question once again. So, how do I get the right customers? Like, how do I know I have the right customer?
How do you know you have the right customers? That's a good question. Are they buying? Right? If they're not buying, then they're not the right customer. No, I'm joking. You see, what it is, how do you know, first of all, like I was going back to earlier what we said, how do you know you're the right person for the business? If you are, there's got to be a fit, right, between you and the client. Think of relationships. You know, I've said it before, if you're going to, court a lady, how do you know that she's the right person for you? Now, in the beginning, you may be rejected, but you don't give up, do you? You carry on, and then you could end up 20, 30 years married. Or you could, go away, come back, and, have the love of a lifetime. So what I'm saying is relationships are built on the most funniest things. We're human beings. All right? We're unfathomable. All right? We're dealing with emotions. All right? So tapping in to those individuals to extract what is going in their minds. You cannot possibly think for them. Okay? That's an impossibility. So the only way to do it is to ask questions, pertinent questions that relate towards what you need to know. That's how you know if you've got the right customer. Then you'll see what it takes. Sometimes it can be a trigger. They might not be buying, and all of a sudden you do the right thing, you say the right thing, and bang, it explodes. All right, take for instance, I'm a bit, maybe I'll give away my age now. There's a Joey Ratner's, right? What's he said? I'll sell crap on TV. Overnight he went out of business. Right? What the wrong thing to say? Right? Do you understand? Because no one wants to know that they're buying crap jewellery, right? It's standard. Right? But that's what Ratner's did. And he was gone overnight. So what I'm saying to you, did he know he didn't have the right customers? They were alright up to a point, weren't they? So the point I'm making is it's the value, isn't it? Alright? And the way customers value you and the way you value the customer and the basis of that relationship. So always be on your medi, always have your antenna up, always be seeking to tune in. As a business person, you always seek to want that business to grow. So you're always seeking for it to be right. So is there ever a right customer? But you've got to make yourself fit that specific customer. If you're talking about specific target markets and niche and so on, finding your specific target market, that's a bit different. But the way that I go about doing it is to go and educate people. I don't do it the conventional way, which is target, information, or inform, market and educate, which is how conventional marketing works, because I don't have the budget for that. Well, that's a lot of money, because you're going to throw money out in market research, and you're going to throw money out in advertising, all these things to attract that target market. That's a lot of money. So you go out and reach out to people and you educate people. Then you look at your track record over a period of time, how many sales you've made. Then you can tap into those people because you've got the database and run that database to see what the demographics is, i.e. age, gender, geographic area, where they live in. If you want to go down to that, the ethnicity, the diversity of your clientele. All right, but make the sales first. All right, if you're not making sales, I can sit there all day having a flat. Well, this customer, that customer, oh, these are the socio-economic group A, B, C, chattering classes, bohemian groups, this and all that arty-farty crap. Don't mean jack if you ain't getting the deal, mate. So go out and get deals. Go out and make sales. And when you make sales, then you can track the people that have purchased your product, and that will define who your customers are, because you'll find a variety in there, but the ones who've bought the characteristics, or what we call psychographic profiling, right? The psychology of the person, the characteristics of the person who purchased your product. You don't have to get as in-depth as that, but the point I'm making is you can get an idea of the profile of the individuals who are buying more. Is it young people, middle-aged people, older people, what their income streams are, so just by building up the database. Key, capture information, capture your target audience in terms of what they're about, what their names are, what their gender is, what their income levels are, all right, the areas that they live in, which is not difficult through postcodes, what jobs they do, kind of tells you that in terms of income. You don't have to say how much do you earn. It's a bit brash, isn't it? But the job that they do and the level of job they do kind of gives you an indication of what they earn. All right, so this is the way of doing it. And once you can start gathering that type of information, become an information gatherer, all right, you start to define. So you educate, you work to that market, and then once you know who your market is, you can inform that market more, so they become what we call repeat customers. They come again. And that kind of defines your target market. So you're remitting yourself. Now you're going against the grain. But that's the way to go forwards. So that is how you work out, you know, the right customers. I know you go in and people will beat me down. Oh, you got to go and you got to prospect. You got to do this. You got to do that. Yeah. Let's put it down to the nitty gritty. Where's the deal? Okay? Because that's the bottom line. No customers, no business. Standard. That's the reality. Right, is that done?
Okay, I mean, we still have 8 more minutes.
Well, just do what we do with the minutes. You keep telling me the minutes. Force-from Dort technique, this young man. He's something else there. Love him, but you know, 8 minutes. Like I'm going to work out in 8 minutes. If I don't get the last question, I'll put it on the next one. I'm answering questions, right?
Yeah.
Well then, that's what it is.
Well,
standard.
Let's do at least one more.
Well, yeah, all right, mate. One more. That's why I'm here, right? What am I doing here?
Okay.
I'm here for fun, am I?
Well, I don't know, maybe for fun as well, I don't know.
Yeah, really? Well, I'm having a bit of fun.
Alright, so the next question is, am I outsourcing the right tasks?
Interesting. Outsourcing. I bet he's a call centre person. I'll lay you 10 to 1 is a call centre person. Alright? Call centre people. That's what they're about. Alright? A lot of outsourcing now within call centre. It'd be interesting to see what those call centres are, but I'm going to take it in the context of call centre. And a lot of call centres now are outsourcing to places like India, alright, and South Africa and all these places, you know. And what's happening is you talk to these people on the phone and you can't understand half the word they're saying. Now you've got a problem with the work going out there and all that, you know. But I think they should be trained properly up to a standard, because they speak to such a speed, you've got to say, excuse me, pardon me, what do you say, you know. And a lot of these companies are doing it just to cut costs. They're not really thinking about the effect it's having on the client base, you know. And it's going back to that question before as well. That's how you can lose business, right? Now, I'm all for global and opening up worlds to developing economies and all that and so on, but have a standard and level of service. So if you're outsourcing, right, what is your standard? Right? And ensure that wherever you're outsourcing to, that they validate your standard. Because if they're not validating your standard, what's happening is you're getting a bad reputation. And if you're getting a bad reputation, your company ain't going nowhere, right? You're struggling. Now you won't see it till the last, when you look at that balance sheet at the end of the year and it's like, oh my good God. Right? What happened there? So we really need to understand when we're outsourcing how we go about doing it. So things like having good training systems in place, having standards in place, like things like ISO, you know, quality standards, right, that the companies can work to. Make sure that they're not using labour and exploiting labour, because that's what a lot of them do these days. They exploit the labour, and we really don't want that, all right, because it's not ethical. You want it to be done right, and make sure they're getting paid a fair wage, all right. Make sure, and when I say fair wage, make sure that they can generate an income that accelerates their income, that they can live well. So do your own work on what the average wage is in that country, or even if it's whether it's the UK, but make sure that people are not being exploited. Because outsourcing means you've got a middleman, and what the middleman generally does is take the bulk of the pie and he gives the grains to the workers. That ain't good for you. That's not what you want it to be. It could be production. I've done it in production from Morocco to Tunisia, Egypt, all over those places, right? In production with clothing and so on. And you know, you'll go into these factories and you'll see people working, yeah, and it'll all look all you know, hunky-dory and that, and then, you know, you catch them off guard when you go out for a plane visit and they're screaming and shouting at them. You don't have to understand what they're saying, but you can see by the body language it's not nice. Right, so, you know, make sure that people are not being exploited in what you're doing when you're outsourcing. Outsourcing can be a good thing, but it comes with a lot of other additional issues. So be clear what you're about. Yes, you can save a lot of money. Don't just do it for the sake of saving money. If you're going to do it for the benefit of sort of helping human beings to get better lives. And if you're doing that, the value of that means your company will grow. See, people don't understand having a good corporate, social, responsible policy, all right, and ensuring that works actually helps your country to grow. Right? It helps you to grow. It helps your business to grow. Because what that does, it reinforces. Alright? And a lot of people out there not doing that today. Everyone just wants to go on bad, chasing money and all these kind of things. That's not it. Alright? Better the human being. Be the greater human being. Make it work. Do good. Because if you're doing good, we always say we grow up, good will come to you. And no matter how rough it gets and how tough it gets, and believe you me, I'm going through it now myself in some ways, where we're going offshore and we're battling. Alright? And I've been whacked and kicked and all sorts inside what I call infiltration. Alright? But the bottom line of it is, I'm still here. And that's the same way you will be. Because for the greater good. And if you're doing for the greater good, it must get better. Understand that. Alright? Don't sell out for a pound note. Don't sell your soul. Because that's not it. Alright? Stand up and be strong. Think about it. And always be the one to accept that you got it wrong. Alright? And then you can come good again. Alright? So in terms of outsourcing, very tricky area, but make sure you've got policies in place. They've got a new one now, Anti-Slavery Act and so on. Make sure you're up to date with these policies. Prevention's another one. With the Islamophobia stuff. You know? So understand where it's at. And get it right. And if you got it right, you're on the move. Alright? And there's no better place than the UK because British standards stand up. Alright? So keep that going. I'm trying to keep that short and hopefully it's not over because this time I've got 8 minutes and I might have time for one more question.
You have like 2 minutes right now.
Well, 2 minutes. Give me another question. What's wrong with you? Did I ask you if it was 2 minutes? I just said give me another question.
Wait,
so I'm not allowed to go a bit over time then, am I? I thought it was my show.
Well, it is. I mean,
yeah, it was my show. I can go over then, mate.
Sure.
Well, then get the question now, please. Because it's taking you 2 minutes to get the question out.
Alright, so the next question. How do I clearly communicate my value proposition?
Right, value proposition, mate. Right, strange, mate. Whoa, that value proposition thing, I tell you, someone's been reading books. Alright, because the value proposition is really now, it's surpassing time now. Alright? Because it's perception, isn't it? And perception of value. What is your perception of value? Do you perceive value to be a certain way? What basis of what is the basis of value? Okay, keep it like this. I'm going to use a bit of theory here because it makes it. Motivation times expectancy equals value. So what motivates the expectancy? What is it the person's expecting? Okay? Because whatever the person's expecting is what's motivating them. Okay? Now, if they're motivated to purchase, example, like a woman, she goes out and buys a pair of shoes, right? She's motivated to buy those pair of shoes. She gets them, she puts them on, and next week she chucks them in the wardrobe and says, oh, I'm fed up with them, I can't bother. I want another pair of shoes. Alright? And we know a woman with shoes, right? We love them, but we know when it comes to a woman with shoes, do not argue. Do not get into that zone, because you are going to get clobbered and probably get a stiletto in your head. Alright? That's the reality of it. Alright? But what we're saying here is what motivated them to buy it was the expectancy. You see? They wanted it. Because it made them look good. They felt good at the time. They felt good. It could have been the shop assistant. It could have been the way they were displayed in the window. It could have been the way that they fit their shoes at the time and the drive and everything else. But then what we call dissonance kicked in. We got it. When we got something now, did we really want it? How much did we really value it? We all do it. Men do it as well. Right? You get a nice shirt. You go out. You're a clubber. You're a blubber. You're moving. You're grooving. You feel good. Yeah, and all of a sudden you wore it a couple of times, like it's getting weary, the thread's getting a bit weary on that. I've got to change it up a bit, you know? Right? So what I'm saying, that's what we call dissonance, buyer's dissonance, where things wear off, human nature, our cognitive, our thinking, right? The emotions that drive us for these things. So value is down to perception, right? Now if you're selling, and you're selling in an effective way, you'll tap into that client's mind and get his underpinning reasons of what underpin that person's value. Then you're able to meet that person's need, sustain that person's values, and this is what old school tailors do, like Savile Row. Alright? They put it on them, they tailor, you know, they put the tape measure on, they know what they're selling them before they walk in. But at the same time, they make them feel good. They make them feel like they're special. And then they charge 10 times the price. Why? Alright, so price isn't a factor, is it? If that person values that service. So what I would say to you is get your service right. Yeah, understand your service. And then one with the service, thereafter you'll find people will perceive you